From Kevin Mahi, how will you ensure tax incurred in the UK gets paid in the UK and goes to those who need it most?
Well, look, this is a really important question that Kevin asks, and there's nothing, I think, that annoys people more than tax avoidance by big companies. Now, I think a couple of things. First of all, we've got to act internationally, because that's the best way of clamping down on this. But also, we've got to be willing to act on our own. There are other countries like Denmark and others who do a much better job of actually clamping down on tax avoidance by big firms. Now, this is in the news at the moment because yesterday the chairman of Boots started telling people how to vote in the UK general election. Well, it turns out that the chairman of Boots lives in Monaco and is actually avoiding his taxes. Now, I've just got to say to you, I don't think people in Britain are going to take kindly to being lectured by somebody who's avoiding his taxes on how they should be voting at the UK general election. And you've now got this unholy alliance between the Conservative Party and people like him who are actually saying that the country can't change. I think we can change the country, and I think part of my job is to say we're going to stand up to these powerful forces who aren't paying their taxes, who are avoiding their taxes, because frankly, they have a responsibility. You know, we talk a lot about responsibility in our society. I think responsibility goes from top to bottom in our country. Now, how can we say to people on benefits and others, you should be responsible, when some of the top people, some of the most powerful people in our country are avoiding their taxes and not doing the right thing? So Mr. Pacina, who's been trying to lecture us about what we should be doing in this country, frankly, I think he should be paying his taxes.
Anyone want to come back on that? Quite a statement there. James, why don't... Yeah.
So are you stating categorically that corporations, economic elites, will be paying tax in the UK, like Amazon and Google?
Absolutely. We've got to deal with this. You know, we've got to deal with this. It's what they call this profit shifting. So they shift profits, and I mean, you've all heard of it by now, where they shift profits around the world to avoid paying them in this country and to sort of, if you like, put them in countries where there are much lower tax rates. This is something the world has got to get to grips with. And by the way, there's a really important point in this, James, which is this is about businesses. This is about decent businesses in this country, small businesses, large businesses, who are doing the right thing. The vast majority are doing the right thing. And frankly, they're as narked as we are about the fact that, you know, there are some people and some businesses who are not doing the right thing. And we've got to clamp down on it.
Molly, you've got a point. Can you just come to the front for us, please? Thank you.
Do we not already have systems in place to make sure that they do pay their taxes in the right way?
It's not happening, Molly. You know, the actual tax gap between actually what companies should be paying and what is being paid is just going up and up and up under this government. And we've got to clamp down on it.
How? Why do you think it's not being done properly?
Well, look, I think because there's been a view, and this goes to the heart of this election, there's been a view that when powerful people or powerful companies say this is the way it should be, that's the way what we should accept. And I just don't agree with that. You know, as leader of the Labour Party, I took on Rupert Murdoch over phone hacking. I took on the energy companies over their prices, because I actually think you need a Prime Minister who will actually stand up and be counted on behalf of ordinary people in this country. And good to use the line, no pun intended. You know, so I think that is a big change, and that is a big issue at stake in this election.